Well, greetings and salutations, everyone. I hope everyone is doing well today. Today I have an upload that I'm looking forward to sharing with you. A subscriber from Ohio reached out and said he had some experiences that he wanted to share. Before we get into that, though, a couple links. As you know, I rely on Patreon, PayPal, and hopefully very soon my merch store to help the channel to continue to grow and go. Those links are in the description below. Also, Dogman Frightening Encounters, Volume 1, 2, and 3, the audiobook versions. They were written and researched by Tom Lyons, narrated and produced by me, Jeffrey Nadolny. Those audiobooks are available on Audible, Amazon, and iTunes, and the links to which are also in the description as well. Now, everyone, I have taken far too much of your time. Let's get on with today's upload. Shall we? Really quick, before we get into the upload, the picture that you are seeing is a picture that this subscriber Sheldon took of the Dogman that is in his area of Ohio. Also, we had a little bit of phone trouble, so we were only able to get about half of the interview done. I will be doing the other half very soon. I just wanted to fill you in on that really quick before we jumped into it. All right, let's get into it. All right, guys, today I have a subscriber who reached out a couple of days ago after I commented on a comment that he made about some encounters that he's had. And I'm pretty surprised that we hooked up because normally it doesn't work out this way. Sheldon, how are you today?
I'm doing pretty good. How you doing, Jeff?
I'm doing well. I'm really excited about this interview because I have not heard any of your experiences, and I kind of did it this way because I like it better this way. So I'm kind of, like everyone else is.
No doubt, no doubt.
Now, you've had quite a few experiences. You have shared a few on Dogman Encounters with Vic Cundiff. So right now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the mic over to you, and if there's any questions, I'll just briefly interrupt you and ask. All right?
All right, sounds good.
All right. So the mic is yours, my friend.
Okay. I guess I'll tell you in the same order that I told Vic. I guess I can go that way. There's a hill across from my house. I'm a naturalist, herpetologist, and I like to be outdoors. But anyway, I grabbed my hook and my gun, and I was going to hike to the top of this hill here by my house and see if there's any reptiles, whatever. And I had a gun, just bought a gun, so I put a gun on my side. And anyway, I'm walking up the hill, and it was real thick, and the briars. I was bleeding and sweating. It took me 45 minutes, an hour, to get to the top of this hill. But I squeezed through the thicket. At close to the top of the hill, there was a thicket, and I pushed my way through it, and I stood up, and I was standing in a clearing. It just looked like it was a dirt floor, 30 by 30 feet, and there was a sandstone wall in front of me, about 15 feet high, 20 by 20. It was a really neat place. If you were going to camp, that would be the place to camp right there. I was like, this is so cool. And I looked to my right. I was just looking around, and I looked to my right, and there's a teepee structure right there beside me. And I'm like, no, this can't be, because I knew what one was. I just never seen one.
Right.
And so I'm looking at this teepee structure, admiring it, and thinking, I wonder if somebody come up here and put that there. And I'm like, no, they couldn't have. Nobody's going to walk up here. And why would they do that if they did? And there's no reason for anybody to be up here leg shorter than the other to get up there, and it's nothing but multi floor until you get to the top. It's an oak flat. But anyway, I was standing there looking at this structure, and I turned to walk towards the wall. I was going to see if there was a snake laying up against the wall, or just, study the wall a little bit. It was really neat. I wanted to see what was inside of it. And so I took 2 steps forward, and something growled at me. And this growl, I knew immediately it wasn't anything that I knew supposed to inhabit these woods. I knew it wasn't a coyote. I knew it wasn't any kind of dog. I knew it wasn't. There's no animal that inhabits woods of Ohio that just made that noise. That I knew right off the get. Well, it scared me, and I unholstered my gun. I pointed it directly in front of me because I thought that's probably where the sound's coming from. It's coming from that wall, somewhere in that wall. And I took a couple steps back and stopped, kind of looked around, and growled at me again. Well, this time, it sounded like he was right in my ear. It sounded like he was right in my ear. And I don't know if anybody's experienced this kind of fear, but it's a fear where your life's ending, right? It's an end for you right now. It's over. This is it. And that's how I felt when the second time that creature growled at me. I knew that I'm not even going to have time to swing my gun around. He's got me. Whatever this is has got me. It's got me. And I was the growl. After the second growl, my knees started to go. I started to feel myself pull towards the forest floor. I was so weak. It took everything out of me. My gun was slipping through my hands. Just weak. Just real weak. Got me real weak. And I'm standing there at the high ready still, and this creature growled at me. And I'm standing there at the high ready, and a couple of seconds go by, and I'm still on my feet barely, and I turn my head real slow to the left. I turned my head and looked. Nothing was there. Nothing was there. And I kind of looked around, and I backed my way off that hill. I backed all the way down that hill. And I come home, and I told my family what just happened to me. But it was you'd have had to be there, and you'd have had to hear it yourself.
Right.
But I was petrified, terrified.
Now, was that so? This growl, it was coming from the teepee structure around that area, or?
I couldn't tell you where that growl was coming from. The first growl I heard sounded like it was 5 foot in front of me. Sounded like whatever growled at me was standing right in front of me. Why I couldn't see it, I have no idea.
Now,
and the second one was even closer.
Now, not jumping ahead, because like I said, me and you I haven't heard any of the experiences, but we had talked just briefly a little bit before. I wonder, like you and I had talked about cloaking and stuff prior, and visibility in these things doing that. I wonder if maybe it was right in front of you and you didn't see it.
Yes, I believe that 100%, because of another experience I had. Same way, I believe in that 100%, and everybody else will. They'll see it. People will see it. People's going to see it. People's going to see what their tactics and what they can do, and it's going to blow your mind.
Right.
It's going to blow their mind because it's blowing mine.
Yeah, I agree. I didn't mean to cut you off. I apologize.
That incident. Well, I come home and I'm like, it's got to be Sasquatch. It's got to be Sasquatch. There's that teepee structure. I walked up on a family of Sasquatch, and that was exciting. I was, because I've never seen a teepee structure in the woods. I spend every day in the woods. I've been all over the place in the woods, from Florida to West Virginia. I've never seen a teepee structure. And I see them on TV. I see people videotape them, but I'm in the woods an awful lot. I work for West Virginia DNR, and I'm in the woods. I'm in the mountains all the time. I did see another TP structure in the mountains, but that was afterwards. I've seen two of them in my life. The one in the mountains in West Virginia, and this one here up on my hill. That's the only two I've ever seen. But anyway, I was excited, and I said, well, if she wanted to kill me, if they wanted to kill me, if they wanted to hurt me, they would have, and there wouldn't have been a damn thing I could do about it, even with a gun. Even with a gun, they'd have had me. There wouldn't have been anything I can do. So what I decided was I'm going to take some food up there. So I thought about it. I mean, I respect that creature for not. It didn't harm me. It could have, but it didn't.
Right.
So I started taking food up there. I started taking food in gifts. I'd go up there and I couldn't find that place where that incident happened, where the teepee structure was. I couldn't find it.
Wow.
And I'd take food up, once, twice a week, 3 times a week sometimes, and I'd take food up there and I couldn't find this place where this happened. And then it started irritating me because I couldn't find it. And I tore off up there another half dozen times. Still couldn't find it. Still haven't found it to this day. And I've been up there 100 times, my son and I both. I cannot find that place. And to this day, it irritates me. It irritates me. I probably never will find it again. And somebody mentioned the portal, and it could have been a portal, but it was neat looking, but it looked natural to me. It looked. I could have stepped through a portal, but I don't know.
Right.
But I would take food. I was taking food up, and the closest I could get was this tree. There was a fallen tree, and I would take their food up to this tree, and I'd set it on a tree. And I was doing that for months. I did it, and one day, I decided to go up, take them food. I had some oranges and some cookies. I think it was around Christmas time. And I took off up that hill again just to take them food. And I told my son, my wife, I said, I'm going up to feed the Sasquatch. And I would go up there and I'd take them food. And I would sit there and talk to them. After a while, I would sit there and talk to them. I'd tell them my name and that I'm sorry for pulling a gun on them. And you don't have to be scared of me. I'm not going to hurt you. I'm your family. We're family. I respect you. And it's an honor to know you, and leave.
Right.
That's what I would do. And so I was heading up there one day, and I had my bag of goodies, and I come up over the hill, and there was this huge dark mass to my left. Just a big dark mass, and it scared me. I thought a cow got out. It looked like an Angus cow was standing in front of me. And it was probably 60 yards, I want to say about 60 yards away. I turned and I looked, and this thing squats down real fast, just hit the ground, squatted, sat down. And that scared me. It scared me to death. I knew what it was. I said, "Oh my God, this is it. This is the day. This is the day." I just met a Sasquatch, and I'm looking right at him. Oh my God! And I pulled my phone out, and I started talking to it. I said, "Hi, my name's Sheldon, and I'm not going to hurt you. And I didn't mean to pull a gun on you or your family member. I'm so sorry, and I'm not going to hurt you." And as I would take pictures of it, I reached in my pocket and grabbed my phone, and as I was talking to it, I was taking picture after picture after picture, and I'm pointing my phone at this animal, telling it that I'm sorry for pulling a gun on you, And here I am pointing the phone at it at the same time. And every time I would take a picture of this animal, it would crouch, it would cringe, it would like tighten up. Every time I raised my phone, this animal would tense up. And it was huge. It was huge. It was as big as round as a 55-gallon drum.
Wow.
And standing up, it would have been bigger, but I didn't see it standing up for long.
Right.
As soon as I made eye contact with it, it hit the ground. And but it was about 5 feet. It was kneeling down, sitting there. It was about 5 or 6 feet. And I said, okay, I'm going to go. I'm going to leave you alone. And I put my phone in my pocket, and I started walking up the hill to the tree. And I'd look back, and he was still sitting there in the same position. And I looked back again after a few more steps, and he was gone, disappeared. And that day, right there, changed my life. I mean, I was, I'll never be the same. But anyway, I got home and I was showing the pictures of him to my son Dusty and my wife. I said, "Guess what, guys? I just ran into this Sasquatch. I told you it was this. I told you. That's what I kept saying." And they were looking at the picture and they were like, "Oh my God, Dad! Oh my God!" She's like, "Oh my God, Sheldon, what did he do?" I'm like, he just sat there, and I took a bunch of pictures of him, and I walked away, and he walked away. I went my way, and he went his. And I'm blowing up the pictures, looking at them, and like the second one I blew up, because I took pictures from like different. I was standing in the same place, but they must have been from a little bit of a different angle. But anyway, I blew the picture up, and this animal had pointed ears. This creature had pointed ears, and he had them pinned back. His ears were pinned back. And I looked at the other pictures to see if I was just seeing things, and everybody's seen it. All I'd have to do is show you the picture. That's all I'd have to do. And but this creature had pointed ears, and it was black. There was a little bit of brown in it. It looked like a Wolverine. It looked like an overgrown Wolverine. It looked like it was a Wolverine about the size of a cow. That's what it looked like. A small cow. That's the only way I can describe what it looked like.
Right. Wow.
And yeah. And so I that was crazy. That was crazy. But I could see the long snout, because he pulled everything in. He tucked his arms in his head. He tucked everything in. When he blew that up, you could definitely see that it was a werewolf, a Dogman, but not the ones that I see. He wasn't, big muscle bound Arnold Schwarzenegger looking like a lot of them are. He wasn't that. He looked like a 50-gallon drum covered in hair. And that was pretty much it. And I told my cousin about it, and they have an animal on their trail cam that they swear is a Wolverine. And I haven't seen that picture yet, but my Uncle Steve goes, "Hey, Sheldon, Derek ever tell you about that thing, that owl he seen in the woods, the owl with legs standing there looking at him?" I said, "No." He said, "Ask him to tell you that story." So I called my cousin up. I said, "Hey, Derek," and I told him what happened to me. And he said, dude, you have no idea. He said, you're same hill. Me, my dad, and both my stepsons were on that same hill you were on. And we were coon hunting. And we were on that same hill. And he said, I walked up over this hill, Sheldon, and there was something at the edge of the field looking at me, looking at us. There's 4 of us. And I said, what it look like? He said, an owl. He said, it looked like an owl. I'm like, well, how tall was it? He said it was about 7 or 8 feet. I said, what do you mean an owl? He said, you take an owl and stick it on your head. That's what it looks like. And I'm like, I'm like, man, what the hell did he see? And I kept playing that through my mind. An owl. He was referring to the 2 ears on the. I was thinking barred owl. I wasn't thinking horned owl. I was thinking something with a big round head. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
And he said that it was the great horned owl that he's seen. He said it looked like an owl. And when he said, the boys were scared. His dad said, go down and see what it is. He was shining a light on. He was shining a light through the field to see if he could see any possums or coons or whatever. And he had his light on this thing, on this creature. And his dad said, go down there and see what it is. Go down there and scare it. He said, I ran down there about 30 yards and went, ho! He said, didn't move, standing there looking at me. I turned around and yelled up at Dad. I said, he's not moving. He said, go down farther. Go down and see what it is. He said, I ran down another 50 yards. I had my light on it the whole time. And he said, I got about 20, 30 yards from this thing, and it turned to the side and walked off on 2 legs.
Wow.
Both of his stepsons didn't go to school for a week. They wouldn't leave the house. They were just young, 8 years old. I think around 8, 10. They're still scared. They'll never go in the woods again. Those kids will never go in the woods again. But anyway, he seen. I guess that was. I didn't even think Dogman. You know, he was telling me owl, and I'm thinking of something with a big round head.
Right.
But then it hit me. It hit me that he was, you know, this thing had pointed ears.
Yeah.
And this was, you know, 200 yards away from where this happened to me. It was all on the same hill. It was the same hill. So I don't know if it was the same creature that I seen. But he said this thing was long and lanky looking. And, but he said it wasn't black. I said, what color was it? He said, it was just weird. It was all colors, all different colors, like brown but big yellow eyes and 2 pointy ears. He said, looked like an owl head. And, yeah, so.
Yeah, that's definitely.
But anyway.
Now, when it went side, when it turned to the side, he didn't get a shot of it at a side view of it, or did he not share that?
The whole thing, they all did.
Okay.
But he got a real close up of it. Yeah, he got a real close up of it. And it's like he don't even want to talk about it.
Right. Yeah.
It's like he don't even want to talk about it.
Yeah, a lot of people don't, you know, because they don't want to acknowledge. If they talk about it, that means then it really happened.
Yeah, it brings it to life.
Yeah.
Brings it to life.
Right on. Yep. Wow. Yeah, that's pretty intense.
Yep.
That's a great description, though. I mean, thinking, you know, barn owl.
But you're right. And I didn't catch on to that. Took me a while to catch that he was thinking great horned owl. Yeah. I'm thinking barred owl. I'm thinking something with a big round head, like alien looking.
Yeah. Huh.
I'm sorry, that's my phone. If you heard that, that's my wife's text message.
That's all right. Don't worry about that. Yeah, that's pretty intense, though. I mean, what a great way of describing it. You know, it's.
Yeah, Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yep. Yep. I don't know if it's the same creature or there's more than one. I don't know, but yeah, same hill, and I still go up there. My son and I both. I said if they wanted to hurt me, they would have.
Now you've never found that one spot again with the wall and the teepee thing?
No,
Hmm.
still haven't. I was
I
just up that hill 3 days ago with my son.
Did you get a chance
And
to look at the wall when you were up there, or no?
pardon me.
Did you get a couple of minutes to look at the wall while you were up there before any of the growling occurred, or no?
About 20 seconds.
Okay.
30 seconds.
I was
Yeah.
I was curious if there was any, like, not hieroglyphs or anything on there. I'm wondering.
If a what?
I wonder if there was any, like, hieroglyphs or anything like
Oh,
Native
yeah.
American
No, I
script
don't
and
know.
stuff like
I
that
tell
on
you.
there.
I couldn't tell you. Right. No, I couldn't tell you.
Okay.
I couldn't tell you. But it was really neat.
Yeah.
I'd love to find it again.
Yeah, it'd make a perfect camp spot, like you said, minus the teepee and the growling.
Yeah, no doubt. For sure.
So
For sure.
you said you had an experience with a portal.
Yeah. Um. This is so hard to talk about because it's so hard to believe. You know. Well, anyway, I just walked out my house one day. I only got 2 minutes left. We're gonna have to redo this whole thing, Jeff.
All right. We had some stuff going on with his phone and service. So what we're going to do is we are going to continue this interview in maybe the next couple of days. That way he can share with us a portal encounter that he had seen. I'm gonna try to figure out a way of maybe piecing all of the encounters together. But I wanted to share these encounters that he shared with us today. But I'm looking forward to hearing the portal one because he said it was pretty intense and he said it almost looked like a cartoon. Like I'm not saying a cartoon, but how it happened, I guess, would be cartoonish. Almost unbelievable. So, well, I'm kind of sad that it went down like that, but that's life. At least we got a couple of encounters from him, and looking forward to hearing the rest of them. So, all right, guys, like I said, with Sheldon, when he gets things figured out with his phone, we will carry on with this interview. Maybe he and I can get together and do a larger, put this one with the next one in one video. That way it's not two videos mixed. So I really want to thank everybody for tuning in. I apologize for having to stop abruptly, but that's out of Sheldon's hands and out of mine. Things do happen. I want to thank everybody for tuning in and listening. And let's always remember to be kind to each other. And may the Great Spirit watch over you and guide you through your path of life. And with that, farewell.